guys, welcome back. My name is Victoria. My channel is all about being a wife, a mom, and everything in between. I am so glad that you're here with me today. If you like this video, would you consider giving it a thumbs up so that I know to make more of them, and then subscribe so you don't miss the next one. So I read 5 books in the month of November. I only have 4 in my hand though because one of them belonged to a friend and I have already returned it to her. That was actually the first book that I read in the month of November, so I'm going to do it first, and it was called The Tattooist of Auschwitz. I'm going to try to put a picture in here so that you guys can see the cover since I don't have it with me. I believe it was by Mario Escobar, but I could be completely butchering that and just fully wrong, so we'll see up here. I do not remember a lot of the details of the book. I remember the general storyline, and I remember that I really liked it. I remember thinking that it was very neat how he included so much history and details about the inner workings of the camp without it like feeling informational. And I really like when historical fiction writers can make a story come alive and really suck you into it, but also teach you so much at the same time. I think that I ended up giving that book 5 stars, and I really enjoyed it. The next book that I read was The Notebook, which I also gave 5 stars. This was the first romance book I have ever read, and it was great. I read this, I think, in like 36 hours. I sat down twice and finished it. It was really good. It was so sweet. I had never seen the movie, and I had never read the book. So this was like a brand new thing for me, The Notebook, for the first time. And then 2 weeks ago, I watched the movie with my friend and just cried through the whole thing. So it was really good. I gave this 5 stars as well. Highly recommend. It follows the story of a couple in love from early teenage years until the very end of their lives. And it's just a really beautiful story. The next book I read was Courting Miss Amsel. This was the first book I have ever given 3 stars on Goodreads. It felt like it was never going to end. I have another book that felt that way, but this one was not, it wasn't good. It was about a school teacher who moved, and that's what stinks, is that like the story had so much potential. Like it was almost good. That's why I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't bad. It was good. For me, 3 stars is good, 4 stars is great, 5 stars is like, gotta tell everybody how fabulous it is. So this was 3. It was a good book. It's about a school teacher named Edith Amsel who moves to Walnut Hill, Nebraska. She is a strong, independent woman who don't need no man, but she's also in like, I think the late 1800s, and everybody's like, you're wrong. This is not how women should be. And she gets into women's suffrage and all kinds of stuff and causes kind of a stir in this little country town. And in the end, it ends, you know, better than it could have. It just, I don't know, it felt really drawn out. There was never like a peak where things got super exciting until like the last 20 pages. 3 stars. Then came Night by Elie Wiesel, and this was phenomenal. This is a very short book. It's 109 pages. I could not put this book down. I think that I read it in, just like The Notebook, like a little under 2 days. I only sat down with it twice, I believe. I for sure gave this 5 stars. It was a 10 out of 10. A lot of people refer to this as like the OG of the Holocaust memoirs. I think it was really beautiful. It was written by a boy who was there. He lost his whole family there. He had a sister, a mom, and a brother. They all went in together. He also talked a little bit about the ghettos that they would put the Jewish families in before they sent them to the camps. And none of the books that I have read on this topic before have covered that. I really love reading about this time period and about the camps and World War II as a whole from all sides, not just, you know, Poland and Germany and where these camps were. So if you have any books that are really good from this time frame, I would love to read them. I love historical fiction. I love memoirs. I love the biographies, the autobiographies, all of it. Leave me some comments and recommend me some books for sure. this was a great, it says it won the Nobel Peace Prize. Like, nobody is surprised by that. It's amazing. Get it. I think I got this book for like $2 at a half price books, and I didn't realize what I was purchasing, and it is easily in my top 20 favorite books of all time. Okay, and then the last book that I read was Firefly Lane. You guys, I average, and somehow reading this still got 5 books in the month of November. I average 5 to 7 books a month, and given this book is 513 pages, it's long, but so are, you know, a lot of the other books I read. Y'all, this book took me 13 days to read. I did not think it was ever going to end. I remember looking at my friend the other day and just saying, like, I don't know if I can do it. Like, I think I might not finish this book. And I'm not one to put down a book without finishing it. I've only done it to, like, 1 book since September, I think. And it was, that was a terrible book. But this was good. It's the story of 2 best friends. It starts when they are, I'm going to say preteens or very early teens. They're 12 or 13. They live very different lives. One of them has a great family, and one of them has a really, really, really rough family, and how they, you know, come together and become best friends, and it follows them all the way until I think this book ends when they are in their 40s, I'm going to say. There is a sequel to this. There's one other book, I think it's called Fly Away, maybe? I don't own it. I'm going to get it, though. It was so drawn out, and I do feel like the entire story was good. It was a beautiful story. I cried. I laughed. It was good. It was just like this, though. Like, there was never a peak. And then I said that this book was, how many pages? 513 pages. The last 70 pages were great. Like, it finally went uphill, literally at like 450, 460. And like, you were waiting on it, and once it got good, it was great. It was phenomenal, and it pulled it all together, and it made it worth it. And I had some busy days and like a couple of down days, so maybe I just wasn't reading as much as I normally would, but for a book to take me 13 days is abnormal. So I gave this book 4 stars. It was a really, really great book. It just felt drawn out to me. I would recommend it, though, for sure. It was a great story. It was a beautiful story of friendship and how, you know, friends can become family. And I think it was really beautiful. I am excited to read the sequel to that. And then I wanted to show you guys. Now I am reading Nora Roberts, Come Sundown. This was highly recommended to me. This is the first Nora Roberts book that I have read. It is a thriller romance, I guess is kind of how you would describe this. I'm only on page 130 of a lot, 483. So I'm just getting my feet wet. Things are starting to kick off with the plot. It is really good. It follows a family in Wyoming. I don't know much about it yet because I didn't have it. Like, the book doesn't have a synopsis on it, but it follows a family in Wyoming. I know that there is a murder, and then there is a similar murder like 40 years later, and I'm assuming at some point, you know, our paths are gonna cross, and we're gonna find out some information, but I haven't found it out yet, and I don't have a synopsis of this book. I just read it because so many people told me to. It's great so far, though. Right now, it's a 5-star book. We'll see how it goes. And then these are 2 books that I want to read this month that I have not read yet, but things that I think I'll pick up. This is The Diary of a Young Girl, Anne Frank. I have never read this book. I know that a lot of people read this in school. A lot of people read this out of school, but a lot of people read this in high school. And I never did. This is never a book that was assigned to me. I picked it up the other day at that same trip to Half Price Books in Dallas, and I am going to read this month. The next book is C.S. Lewis's The Screwtape Letters. I read this book as a teen, but like a young teen. I think I was 14 or 15 years old probably. And it wasn't assigned to me. I think it's just something that I was interested in picking up, which looking back on it is interesting. But I'm excited to read this again. I do remember it. I remember liking it. I remember thinking like the spiritual warfare aspect of it is just so real, and how good of a job he did on this. Chris has been wanting to read this too, so I think we are going to read this like at night in bed together. I'm going to read to him. It's pretty short. It's only 93 pages. So I'm excited to go back through this again. I'm sure I will read more this month than these 3 books, but I'm not sure what I wanted to read yet, and I'm a mood reader, so I don't want to plan ahead too much, but I am going to do these 2, and I'm going to finish this one. And then on the 18th of this month, we are taking another trip to Dallas, and I've got a long list of books to get when I'm back at Half Price Books, and I'll for sure do a haul on the ones that I get there. So thank you guys so much for joining me for this November reading wrap up. I hope that you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up if you did, so I know to make more of these, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.